The podcast in English takes you to the core of SDP.
There will be interesting discussions about SDP's core values, history, and current challenges. The purpose of this series is to engage and facilitate political integration of immigrants.
My name is Tipsa Basuleva.
My name is Waqar Zafar.
And this is the podcast produced by SDP Uusimaa.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of the podcast series in English. I'm Waqar Zafar, and today in the studio we are going to discuss what do we need to know about the upcoming municipal and county elections. To discuss that today in the studio we have two guests. First of all, Helena Marttila. She is a member of the parliament, member of the Espoo City Council, and also Western Uusimaa's welfare county.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. And our second guest is Siru Hopealinna. She's from Porvoo. She is head of the SDP Porvoo unit, and she's also a candidate in the next spring elections. First of all, Helena, congratulations for becoming the chair of the NICET.
Yeah, the women. Yeah, NICET. Yeah, thank you. I'm really excited about that. And we have so many women all over Finland that are ready to do also campaign work in the springtime. And we have actually a festive year coming up for our 125 years celebration.
And I think you well deserve the position, and you will be a great asset to the organization. And I'm hopeful and I'm sure that you will do great work in your tenure. And I think all the people that are working with you shall be very happy. Since you're already a member of Espoo City Council and Western Uusimaa's welfare county, would you like to define or explain a little bit about how municipalities, how do you define them, and how do municipalities and counties work in Finland in general?
Well, I think both of them have a really important role in our all everyday life, but in a different kind of point of view. And it's actually a historical point because you know that last time we had the municipal elections, we didn't have this county regional sort of thing yet. And now it's a new kind of county election that is coming up. To me, the most important role of the municipality is that we still have schools, libraries, swimming halls, and especially for the kids and elderly people, it's actually most of where you spend your everyday life and week, and the services. For the kids, it's even the meals you eat at school and so on. Most of the employers that are still in the municipalities are among the school or daycare system. And then we also take care of parks and whatever it's you can see around when you walk around the city or the municipality. But then when it comes to the county side, it's about the social and healthcare services and system. Of course, they are situated among the municipalities, but it's a different system that is arranging the services. And not to forget the fire services. How do you call the whole system for the rescue service?
Yes, the services are fire stations.
Yeah, and that's of course a really important part. And how I think is that the services that the municipality is arranging, it's kind of like keeping people like active and giving them nice experiments and taking care of their health in a way that if you get sick or something, then you get the service from the county side. But both of them are, of course, really important part of our lives. Yeah.
So in your personal view, if you divide both them separately, how many counties do we have in Uusimaa? I think there are 5.
Uusimaa, it's only 4 counties. It's the east, west, middle, and then Vantaa, Kerava.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Helsinki is a separate area. Yeah,
but Helsinki doesn't have the county thing. They have, if they get elected in the city council, they get elected. They have it. Yeah.
So the system works different in Helsinki and in other counties of Uusimaa.
Yes.
And how about the municipalities? One get elected and become a counselor? And what are the responsibilities, because you're already a member and it's in your general practice? So
Yeah.
from my and my viewers' side, I would like to hear that part.
Well, I think the most responsibilities are, like I said, about school and arranging daycare and school, and also, let's say, outdoor activities like outdoor gym or something, and then swimming house and those kind of services. Yeah.
Thank you so much for explaining. I would like to ask you, Siru, because you're head of the SDP Porvoo unit, and I'm sure you're already working on the campaigns and the whole process, getting people to contest. In your personal view, why do you think this election is very important for SDP members, or general for people as voters, candidates, or campaign members, or just concerned citizens?
I think now, like, very important thing is that in cities, in municipal, you do the most of the work what you see in the people life. Like they're going to school is like municipal is organizing that, daycare, outdoor gyms, parks to kids, library services, swimming holes, like all that thing is from the municipal. And they offer these things. And now, because now the government in Finland is like not giving that much anymore money to municipals, and we have to like now think about where to cut the things, where to cut the services. So I think it's now very important to vote and be a member of SDP, be a candidate of SDP, that we can make a right moves where to cut the money that we are able to give these services still to our city members. Like we don't need to like cut from the school food, or doing bigger school groups in the schools, or like that kind of things, because at this moment I think the government is doing like a lot of things that people is gonna pay more than paying at the moment or before.
As an immigrant myself, I think this election is very important because of and recently there are a lot of changes going to happen. For example, the unemployment office and it is going to come under the kaupunki, the city governments, and then there are other changes that government is proposing. And I feel that it's very important, especially for all multicultural, immigrant background, refugee background people, to vote for SDP, because this is not only a perception but a reality. At this point, there's an anti-immigrant situation or movement created by the ruling parties, and I personally resonate to that, and I believe that it's very important for us to vote. So the next year there are a lot of changes going to happen, which will affect the.
And also the municipal can like make a choose that if there's like integrated the immigrant people to Finnish people, that they can learn easily the Finnish language, because I think I have lived in Estonia many years, and I learned the language just only like I was surrounded the people that speak the language. If I'm only with the people that speaking like my own mother language or English, I will be not learning the language that they speaking in that country. So all the municipal makes decisions like how do you learn the Finnish language in the school, like the kids, or also the adults, how they can like study Finnish, like study in the Finnish system, because they learn the Finnish language when they get involved with it all the time, and they are like all the time speak at Finnish. But if they are not get like these courses of Finnish language, or they are not going to school which is speaking like Finnish language, they are not able that easier to learn the language.
Yes.
When they are not like all the time hear the language and somebody speaks them like all the time, like so.
Now, a lot of people are very worried about this situation because integration program is very key. key department or the place where people can actually integrate into not only the society but the workplace. They can get learn, finish, and get employed. And at this point, there's a lot of people are worried, and there's a lot of confusion how it's going to work, and there's not a lot of information given about this, rather than just that it's going to come under the municipalities. And I think from what I hear from my colleagues and people around, they're very concerned for this point, and I think I urge people to keep that in mind when they're voting, or they're selecting a party to vote, or the key issues that they're going to. This should be one of the leading issues, that they need to support a party that actually represent their views in the next city council or the county. Yes.
Yeah, and I think in a bigger picture, it's also about segregation in the municipalities, and that's one thing. You asked how you can have power in the municipality is to fight against segregation. You know the Finnish system or the system that we have had, and to me, when I look at it, especially from the parliament point of view, it seems that this government is growing poverty, and it doesn't care about, giving services to everybody, but as long as the richest people gets to go to the doctor and so on.
Indeed.
Lower taxes,
exactly.
and the school system is not gonna be anymore like free. That we last government side, we got the free education to the second like the high schools and the
and even I think the most or the greatest thing about Finland to me is that we have these nearby schools, or the school that's closest to you. My kids, I'm a member of the parliament, and my kids go to the nearest school, and there is an NHL superstars kids go to the same school where all the kids go from the nearby lower, or how do you say, lower socioeconomical classes also go all they go to. It's accessible, it's free, and I think that's something that we can't lose, that at least the kids are equal when they go to the first grade, and that's what the most important thing for me.
And there's like same time that when municipal takes this, like what we are building, like are we building just one type of houses, are we building a many-story houses, because that also depends, or is the only the houses is like you owned, or can you rent that as well, because that also gives the segregation about the kids, which is like have a different background from the families. Because I think in Finland it's very I love this thing that everybody comes from same line. If you are coming from that backgrounded family, or any other backgrounded, you are still same line, and you can become whatever you want, because we have this free education, and we support families that don't it's not that have that much money that can put the kids to school, that we offer these things, that we have this thing, and we don't need it's like all the time looking the government what they are doing, like it feels like all the time that they want to give that if you are rich you can get whatever you want, but if you are not getting that much money from your work, you don't have a work, you are not getting paid that much, you are like loser in their mind, I feel sometimes.
I understand, but I do understand what you're trying to say. But in the previous government, we did a few things that first we tried to avoid building ghettos. I think we learned from Sweden's mistakes, and I think that's where we mostly look for when we want to learn something. They did huge mistakes. They build pockets and ghettos of when they bring refugees and immigrants their state. But in Finland, the distribution and so giving the equal opportunity, so they do not feel inferior. So especially the kids that are growing into a new environment, I think that was one of the key achievements we had in the past, and which brings us to equality. That's what equality means, giving an equal opportunity to everybody. And thank you for raising that point. That's a very valid point. And I know that it's a global tough situation when it comes to economy right now. It's not just the Finland, everybody. But even in tough situations, we can make some decisions that the ones, especially with the low income, should not suffer. So having said that, I want to ask you a very basic question, which is that we, a lot of people who just arrived Finland or have been here, but were not able to actively follow the current political, but they now understand that voting is very important, and we really want them to vote for SDP. So, could you please share us the basic information, who can vote and who can contest, those kind of things?
Yeah, actually, it's good news that in the county and municipal elections, most of the people get to vote. You don't have to have the citizenship in Finland or EU country or anything. It's enough if you have lived in Finland for 2 years, but in that specific municipality or county for 51 days. And that's basically most of the people who you meet once you're campaigning at the mall or wherever, that if they live in that municipality, they probably get to vote. And it's nowadays it's actually really easy to vote too. We have this, you just have to have your driver's license or whatever ID card you have and go to the nearest library or sometimes the grocery store and just to go in and choose your. Well, now I said it's going to be easy. Actually, I don't know how it's going to work because it's the first time in Finland that we have 2 elections at the same time. But I'm thinking if Sweden can do it, I think they have even the 3rd or the parliamentary elections at the same time. So probably we can do 2. But they haven't decided it yet if you have to go to 2 separate slots to do that or however it's going to work.
I think
because people are going to have different numbers.
I think people there have been speaking about that there's different colors, these voting
Something
things
like
that you get both of them, and same time you voting to the municipal elections, you have the second paper that it's different color, and you voting same time to the county elections. I think this is something.
I'm sure they are making it easy. So the difficult part is to notice when the election starts and when it's the electing dates, and then just to have your ID card at least once while you walk through the wall.
In my experience and information, mostly this is being practiced in Asian or African democracies. Mostly they have this one-day election where they do the whole thing. Not all of them, but majority in my own country also. So it's basically the same place, but maybe different ballots. They offer you different lists to mark. And I think it's going to be easy because
and once you get there, I'm sure there will be people helping you, so it's not up to that. But it's the most important thing is to tell people that you do get to vote. And I think more and more people, now that they have lived in Finland for a while, they start to notice. But it is confusing. We have had just the European elections or the EU elections last summer, and then the presidential elections and parliament, and it's always kind of a different people who get to vote. But now we can just say everybody gets to vote. Vote SDP, right?
And I want to use this opportunity to raise another issue, which is very important. SDP enjoys the popular support or majority support of the immigrants, but we are unable to get all the votes because they do support us, but they don't vote for us. So I think this is an issue I want to discuss with both of you, that how we can resolve this, because this should be resolved, that majority of the immigrants do feel that, even in all the polls, if you check, that they're all with SDP. And I think from our end and organizational end, we think we need to work more on that. Or do you want to say something about this?
Well, I'm from Espoo, and we have this one richest parts of the Finland called West End. And we know that 90% of people who live in, or 95 or 97, I can't remember what it was exactly, they do go and vote. And it's highly tied to your educational level or your social economical level. And then we have other parts in Espoo where only a third of the people vote. And I'm always saying that once we've had the elections, is it is it like for all the people who live in Espoo, or is it only for sort of a part of the people that gets to vote or who are running for the city council and who gets to be chosen and what they are doing and what kind of politics they do after that. And that's why I think it's so important that we should be campaigning especially in those areas where people maybe they don't know that they get to vote. And of course, many people think that it doesn't matter if I vote.
Yes.
But I think it's the one day that it doesn't matter if you're the president or if you're whoever. When you go to vote, you have the one vote as much as the other person. And please use that.
The reason I brought this up was to create the awareness that your issues matter. And the only solution is electing people that translates your emotions, your ideology, and just go to the ballot and find an SDP candidate and vote for them.
Yeah, we have many.
I think something is like also like you don't have the information. It doesn't bring you like mostly the campaigns is doing from us. Perfect. Is like that we make only our campaigns in Finnish or Swedish. We don't usually do that much of in English, or we don't do much of information in English. So like it's when you're coming in Finland, you have tried a lot of learning the Finnish language, but also the politician speaks a lot of politician language. So there's a lot of hard words that you don't even understand, like what this is even meaning. Like we wanna build something very pretty words we are putting, like, but
like segregation.
Yeah, but people doesn't understand what that even means. So I mean, like we don't tell enough like easy or very understandable the things that people is like, I have a right to vote. I know what she or he is like campaigning for. Yeah, I can vote. But because we speak in Finnish, we speak very hard language. So sometimes it's just like you don't get, and you're like, I don't think that even matters that if I vote because I don't understand. So it's get out of the system. So
trust me, we are working on it on certain platforms. We are trying to achieve that. We are trying to lower the barriers, and we know that we do enjoy the support. And this time we're working hard to get actually more votes, because it is very important not for the candidates or the parties, for people, because if they do not vote, then the desired number is not achieved at the decision-making bodies, and then the issues remains issue for another 4 years. And I think this is very important. That's why I brought it up. The next question is not a question; it's a discussion, and I really want to have it because there are a lot of new candidates, and people in general have curiosity to know about how do we campaign in Finland, how the political system works, because you're both active in your sections. And I really want to have a discussion with you that, first of all, I will bring up this American elections just ended. So in American political system, they have this endorsement. Yeah, so there's candidate, like he get endorsement from certain influential people, maybe a person who was already a candidate, or but I have never seen that in Finnish political system. Is it workable or not workable? Should work? Need to know from you.
Yeah, I see it more and more, but maybe not in the municipal elections. But if, let's say, somebody is running for a vice president in their own party or something, they ask people to endorse them. I think it could work, but it's maybe difficult. If I think I'm a member of the parliament from the Western Uusimaa or Espoo, it's more difficult for me to think that I would say it's somebody from my own region or own municipality, because I think, what do the others think then?
Yeah.
And that's maybe. But if someone from Vantaa, Kerava, or Eastern Uusimaa would ask if we know well and so on, it's not. It could be easier to think that's just right. And actually, last time we had the municipal elections, I was lucky to have one. Yes, from Timo Harakka, for instance, who is from Helsinki.
Yep, makes sense.
For me, it was so special that someone would say. But of course, it means you have to know a little bit, and so that you would feel comfortable to do it.
So what's your viewpoint on this?
Yeah, I think in this like party inside elections, everybody asks nowadays like, can you endorse me, like saying like a couple nice words about me, that why I should be chosen to chairperson, vice chair, or any of these places. But I think in municipal or these county elections, in my perspective, not that much have seen this in my area. I see a lot of it, I think, in Helsinki area, because there is so much people that is having this going elections and this. But I think it's just like you speak about your near of heart things, people, that what is important for you, and you try to give them that I'm doing for you a work, I'm gonna representing you. I think that is like most important things in elections, that you see people, you get to speak like face to face, or connecting, or Instagram, Facebook, that is that representative candidate is gonna represent my values. Is like, I think it's the most important. That also getting like endorsement, like parliament people, it's like also getting like people like that parliament people is like endorsing, but same time, is it like the best of thing, that is it also gonna represent my values? Maybe
I think the most difficult part of campaigning is that people get to know that you're even running. and
that's true.
I think we could do that more within this Uusimaa region, that we know each other, we know many candidates, and when we meet our people who live in other municipality or other county, we get to say, there's great people, there's actually 3 great people, just to choose from them, because we know some people think they are thinking even the age of the candidate or the background or whatever, and we don't know what's the most important thing for that person. So if we can recommend each other to other people, then that's also very effective.
There are a lot of people who are going to run their campaigns for the first time. So any word of advice for them, what to do, not to do, especially not to do things, because I think it's very important to follow the rules and laws, and to do certain things within the range, because there are a lot of new candidates who are going to contest on SDP list, and we don't want to earn a bad name for the party and for the list. So word of advice for them, please.
Maybe many advice. One thing is, don't start too early, because it's heavy job to do campaigning. And actually many people, even in February, they are not aware that the elections are coming up, even though they are already in April. And I think what they say, it's at least 2 weeks before the elections. We are not best in doing election or the campaigning work at that time. I think maybe it's because we are already a bit tired after a long period. But I think that's one important thing, to make sure that you can campaign up to the actual election dates. Well, of course, I don't know if there are so many bad rules, or I mean rules that would be.
I think
like
one of the most important rule is that you are not allowed to campaign next to the voting place.
I think it's 80-meter rule.
Something.
But like, don't go where is the voting station, because otherwise you are like banned, or you get bad name for that. That is like one of the most important, and also be your tell the truth. Don't be a lying people that, and also be a nice, like very good, like
good manners. And when it comes to social media, let's say, of course, we do have rules that you are not allowed to write anything racist, for instance, or something like that. That
makes sense.
Harm the party, and of course, probably if you're running as our candidate, you are like behind our values.
So be considerate. Not too aggressive. Not aggressive campaign. What do you think about that?
I think in Finland, when I look at let's say the US elections, it's really aggressive, and they are like trying to shame people and whatever. We don't do that much. Sometimes, or even more, when we do have this one party that is maybe changing the political culture a bit. But I think it's more about bringing like why we are the best, not why they are so bad. But of course, we do have to tell people that it's the worst government and the parties that are in the government, and actually it's the one place where we can show that to in this election.
I was explaining this to my father, how Finnish political system works. Here, you do not contest against anyone. You contest for yourself. You have your own thing, and you ask people to influence people to vote for those things. And then, of course, if you're able to influence a lot of people, then there's a bright chance that you might get in. So that was like from person who have no understanding of Finnish system. I was explaining that here there's no one-to-one election system. Like people don't contest against anyone like in the US. That's why it's aggressive. They do personal attacks. They do all sort of things to get pulled one down so the other can rise. So, but that's the good thing about the Finnish system, that if you want to do it in a very, I would say, in a very sober way, you can do it in a very decent way, I would say.
Decent way, yeah. And for me, it's the mindset is that it's the most important thing to get people actually first to vote in the first place. Because if we do get them to vote, it's probably good for us anyways. The second is, of course, that they would vote SDP. And that's why I'm speaking that maybe you can recommend even not only yourself. I mean, of course, you have to campaign for yourself. But sometimes it might be that actually you are speaking exactly of what they are thinking is the best thing or whatever. So I think that's a good way to go.
And sometimes, because if you compare to American politics, there's two candidates. Like we are looking at presidential, we have the Republicans and Democratic. But in Finland, sometimes we take a cooperative, like other party. We are with the Green member, same age, but we have different things that we are.
Ideologies are different.
Yeah. So in Finland, that we do cooperating party. Different parties, and we are making like, hey, do you want to campaign with me and go to these places and see the people and gonna contact it, speaking at, and sometimes it's very good that there's also other parties that there's you can discuss and about see the politics in Finland.
I think this system is basically saturate the polarization environment. While in the US, because they only have the two majors, so it's very polarized. I have followed them. It's like neck to neck, and people saying horrible things to each other, even on the stage, on the public platforms. But that's the very good thing in Finland, that we have a political system which is diverse and saturated. We have so many parties on the left, so many parties on the right. So that's a good way. I would say a mature democracy can have. I would say that. The next topic is funding, which is very key for every candidate. What are the best suited ways to get funding? And I would say how, so you later don't have trouble. So how to get funding and how to report them later.
I think funding, you can fund your own campaign if you have money. You can do it. Also, you can do your campaign like without money, because I think in smaller cities, municipals, there's like, you're very able to make, because there's not that you need to like have this much to money to be able to candidate. And I think it's very good that you don't need like have 1,000 euros that you can make to the member of the city council or county councilor, because I think where it starts the democracy, like nobody is like, I think that not needing the fund that much should be like future, that there is something funding lines, because that gives also same time the people like very different level where to campaign. But if you get the fund, you can ask your family members to fund your campaign, that you want to give me like couple 10 or 20 euros to campaign, and I can maybe market myself in Facebook, Instagram. And after election, you have to all this fund report this one web page, and I have done this like 2 times, and I think it was very easy. There is like very easy to put like, where did you get this fund, and is this over like 800 euros? You have to report who gave this money to you, and where did you use this money? Like, did you use it to the newspaper, or did you use to the Facebook marketing, or this? I think it's very easy to report if you just keep like, you put Excel, like I got from A person like 20 euros and I get 50 euros from B person. I get total 70 euros, and you just put that.
And I think this information is very valid or vital for first-time candidates, because they don't have the first-hand experience.
In a way, I think it's easier to raise money when we have these sort of mobile pays and things. But I'm thinking it's not that easy. Maybe the reporting is easy as long as you've had the Excel, and you have to have that, and maybe even the receipts and so on. At least you should have, or it is easier to have a separate bank account. But even then, maybe I think they could help from the party office how you actually have to do it to make it like by the book. And it's, to me, I think it's not that simple actually. So you have to, but I hope they have also in English or how you can do they
rules.
And how do you do it?
And I'll watch for that, and we'll work on that.
Yeah.
We'll try to provide it if somebody needs in English.
Yeah, but in this, like, the mobile pay is very easy way to fund the people's campaigns. But I think in county and this election, they don't put that much money, that if there's a parliament election, presidential, EU election, there's so much more money people putting the elections. But in county and these elections, there's not that much. And I think that is very nice, good thing, because there is also able to run a lot of more people. And I think we should have this equal level, that if I have a lot of racers, that it's not, because you get that if you have the funders, a lot of this, you get like 10,000 euros you're using your municipal county elections, you're like getting so much more marketing. And I don't think it's like a good thing that somebody gets so much more that have this, because somebody who is like having same values and things, it's not that seeing in the places. And also he is doing a lot of more work in there, like going to see people face to face, trying to do like writing in newspapers.
Yes, that's a very that's a bigger topic of discussion, but I would say that's a very important one, because equality even in that field is required, and I think people should have equal opportunity to even do the campaigns.
I think, if I might add, it's good if you have a social media accounts, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or whatever. And also, what we haven't discussed yet is these vaalikone. What's that in
elections question
on the internet.
Internet, these web pages that when you're running to candidate, you can write this like, are you same or different about this one topic.
You know what?
Vaalikone.
Yeah. Anyways, I think it's free to just type your ideas, and people before elections, they do these on the internet and try
There's
to find
2015 questions that you answer, like if you're thinking same as that, should we put away our healthcare, free healthcare, like are you saying that we need free healthcare, or you are not thinking that you can.
So my tip is fill those, and as many as you can. And if you have a social media account and people find you on the internet, that's mostly free. Also.
So listen to these ideas. These comes from a person who has been elected on different platforms. So I'm sure they are very useful.
And haven't used a lot of money.
Well, and last but not the least, some words of advice or wisdom, personal view, because there are a lot of immigrants, there are a lot of multicultural background people living in Finland, or the people who speak English do not have a lot of access are not able to access the political current affairs. And what would you advise them to do in these elections, and why should they vote, and who should they vote? I have an idea who should they vote, but in your personal appeal, that people from these backgrounds, why it is important for each one of us to vote in these elections.
I think it's important to vote in this election because you are like voting in these municipal or county elections that where is the healthcare? Do you get a school? Is it healthy? There is no mold or other microbes that it's bad your health. You are also voting for that there is a swimming halls, libraries, the places that people can get together, like also. So it's very important. I think also streets, roads, cities, municipals are like paying those. So I think everybody in this, it affects everybody. Like I think also the public transportation, municipals are affecting that, how it's going in that side of city or in that side, or is there nothing? So everything affects.
So in conclusion, she's saying that all of your everyday life decisions does matter and are connected to this vote and this election. So,
and no matter if you vote or not, the decisions will affect you in many, many ways. And that's why I think, of course, we want to make sure that Finland stays, as we've talked, equal and, should we say, social democratic. And also, I know many people don't like this government. We know it from the polls, and we know it for sure, and we know all the reasons. So this is the first time actually to show also the government that we want something else, and we want other parties to run Finland.
Yes, that is like the most thing that we can now show that government is not going in right way in this time, because they are just cutting the everything, and mostly from the people that is needing this social welfare or needing the free school system or education. So this is like the time to show to government that we need social democrats to make this right.
Well, thank you so much. And I think the point that you have raised is the basic reason why elections happen, to direct things towards they should be. And I encourage all the SDP, and in general, all people who are listening, to support us, become our candidates, and vote for us, because we understand that currently we need a direction that is not there, and that can only happen if you will vote for us. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I really enjoyed our conversation, and I'm sure that everyone who will listen to this or is listening will really learn a lot, and this was so informative, and I'm so glad that you shared your personal opinions and views, and thank you so much, and have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.